In the VIP lounge, my very special guest, DJ, producer, artist, record label owner, and a very talented individual, Vic Lavender. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine, man. And how are you?
Where did your journey begin, Vic?
My journey started in the mid '80s. I started as a DJ, actually, and basically from there, I was just influenced from a lot of artists here that influenced me, to start production.
Who would you say were your main musical influences?
Well, early on in Chicago, without a doubt, it was Larry Heard, Mr. Fingers, Larry Heard, and I was also influenced by Jamie Principle, and I was also influenced by the sound that'd be Lil Lewis. Three guys that I could say influenced me heavily early on.
When did you discover your talent as a musician?
Well, basically, I actually discovered it first as a producer. And so just listening to a lot of Larry Heard stuff like What About This Love and Stay Close and Washing Machine, and those all inspired me to, to get into the production game.
When did you first started to get into production?
I would say that would be 1988, 1989. A close friend of mine at the time, his name was Robert Macon. Robert and I went out and bought a bunch of equipment and just pretty much taught ourselves, like how to make beats and how to play chords and things of that nature, and everything sort of took off from there.
As a musician now, you formed Mr. Ali with Jerry McAllister. Can you share with us how that partnership began?
Well, actually, I was a member of the Strictly Jazz Unit, which is Glenn Underground's thing. I was a member of his crew, I would say from 95 to like 98, and then after we parted ways, I met Jerry McAllister, and Jerry and I had the same interests in adding live musicianship, like to dance music. And so we clicked and we got together and we formed Mr. Ali. Now, basically, Mr. Ali was like a rotating melting pot of like great musicians from Chicago. You have Mike Logan Sr. on keys, like Lamar Jones on bass, Troy Rendon on percussion, Jerry Johnson on guitar, and Jerry McAllister and ourselves, we just pretty much produced it, and it turned out to be pretty good for me.
So the sound that you've created with the label Sophisticado, you actually launched the label in 2006. How did it all came together?
Well, basically, once Jerry and I decided that we wanted to do individual projects, I just wanted to further like what we were doing with Mr. Ali. When you're doing something on the individual status, you don't have anybody else to worry about. You can just do what you want to do. And that was basically the premise of it. I wanted to take different styles of music. I wanted to take a lot of Afro-Cuban rhythms. I'm a huge jazz fusion fan, so I'm into Pat Metheny. I'm into Jeff Lover. I'm into Bob James. I'm into Herbie Hancock, Joe Sample. So I want to kind of throw that all in the pot and see how it comes out. So far, it's been good for me.
You've definitely created a sound for the label. Can you share some of the projects that you released and some of the artists that you've worked with on the label?
Mainly, I've worked with Chicago artists, people like Carla Fraser, Keita Jericho, Robert Green, Nicole Mitchell, and now I'm working with another talented individual. He goes by the name of Spike Rebel. Actually in the process of producing his album now.
Yourself as an actual recording artist, what projects have you done recently, Vic?
We're constantly working. Spike and I recorded basically 40 tracks in 30 days. So we're always working, and I'm really looking forward to this project. There's another young lady that we discovered. She's a friend of Spike's. Her name is Lausanne. She has a beautiful voice, but that's basically it, man. Not to mention, I just released the album Architects. I released that in February of 2015, and that's distribution by Sacred Rhythm Records, which is Mr. Joe Parzell himself. I've been pretty busy, man.
Well, you've nicely mentioned Joe Closell because you've also worked with people like Abacus Soul and also one of my favorite producers, Josh Milan.
Well, actually, Josh and I, we never were in the same studio together. He did a remix for me. But, like, Josh is a nice guy, man, who promotes the art, and, he's a sweetheart of a guy.
You nicely mentioned about the two artists, Spike and Lausanne, on the forthcoming label. So for yourself, forthcoming for 2015 and 2016, what can we see coming out from the label Sophisticado?
Well, basically, like I said before, we have a few things coming. The Architect was released on CD only. It wasn't released digitally. And so now if we're going to do a double album, final, which will have unreleased tracks that wasn't on the CD. Like, they'll be included on the album. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that should be released around December 2015, which is in a few months, actually. And so I'm looking forward to that. Now Spike's album, which will be released in the summer of 2016, like, with the way we're introducing him, is that we're doing 5 singles first, and then we'll do it every 2 months digitally on TrackSource, of course. And like, the first single was Rescue Me. And like, that dropped in September, and like, that did well for us. And like, the next single will be All Around the World, like, and then from there, because we have so many great tracks from him, we have to decide which ones we want to put out. So like, I'm kind of fighting with myself because they're all great. They're all really good tracks, man. So I'm sort of fighting with myself to kind of, in what order I'm going to release this single.
Can we see both the albums with Spike and Lausanne? Can we see them being released on digital? And at some stage, the album with the Architects, can we see that coming out on digital as well?
At some point, I think they'll all be released digitally, but for right now, we're sticking to the physical aspect of it, because digital, as you know, is kind of tough for the artists because there's so much downloads and file sharing. I know you have some people out there that love it, who don't have that appreciation for all the hard work we put into it. You know how that is.
You've shared some great experiences touring in South Africa, the UK. What was your favourite moment you've experienced touring?
I actually had a chance to play with Dr. Bob Jones in London. And Dr. Bob Jones was another one of my influences later, because I think he's such a great, his knowledge of music is out of this world. So, like, that was one of the highlights of my career. And also playing in South Africa. Like, South Africa is wonderful. Like, the music I'm making is well accepted over there. I always have a great time playing there, as well as Toronto, another highlight of my career.
Can we see yourself coming back into the UK during 2015 or 2016?
Hopefully. Those things are always up to the promoters, and if there's actually a demand for you. And right now, I've been so focused on studio time, I can't see myself touring anytime soon.
I've got a list here. You've worked with some amazing artists: Lisa Shaw, Dave Glenn, Shawnee Taylor, and Carla Praver. You've worked with some really, really talented people, as well as Spike and Lausanne. Any other projects that we can see forthcoming?
As of right now, I'm really concentrating on making the albums for Spike and Lausanne, but if other projects arise, absolutely. I'm always contacted for remixes. That's how I got into Lisa Shaw. Lisa's voice is beautiful. It was easy to take our concept and add with her vocals and create something that hopefully people like. One more thing I have to mention.
Oh, yeah.
I just did a remix for a label called Vibe Boutique Records, and it features Marie Tweet. And so, like, I had a wonderful time working on that as well.
To be fair to you, I've heard that track. I like what you've done with that track. It's really classy. So, Vic, are you ready for that time of the show in which I need you to become a radio DJ on my show now? Are you ready?
Well, yeah, I think so. Hello, guys. I've been the VIP Lounge. I'd like to thank you guys for listening in as I now present the special Sophisticado mix full of unreleased goodies. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Sophisticado Recordings.